The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Brown. I'll do the briefing this morning for today, Monday, December 29th. Looking at, first of all, can people hear me? Just making sure. Send me a little check. Looking at the pattern here, we have a cold front to our west that's just crossing the mountains right now. And you can see the clouds increasing across southeast Virginia. There was some sun earlier. That should be going away. We got some showers coming in. We're not looking at a lot of showers with this, however, though. Just looking at the current conditions, you can see the very warm temperatures and the breezy southwest winds right now. Temperatures in the 60s across most of the area, even some mid to upper 60s across the southeast, but and some upper 50s across the far northwest. Today will be the most active day for the most part for the next several days. As you see right here, this is looking at wind speed. This is kind of current right now, modeled wind speed from one of the models we use. And you see, as we go through the afternoon, this little surge in the wind shift from the southwest more to the west-northwest with wind gusts of about 35 to 40 miles per hour coming through. This would be kind of like 3, 4 o'clock, and then remaining windy, especially along the coast, even into this evening, while winds start to diminish a little bit as you go further inland. We do have a wind advisory in effect for the eastern shore where the wind gusts are expected to be highest, generally in the 45 mile per hour range, really into this evening, before they start diminishing overnight. As you get into the overnight hours, you can see everybody starts to diminish. So that's just shown here by the brown color here. And so you can see here's just the depiction of the front coming through today. And then as we go through the rest of the week, low pressure is going to linger across Canada really for several days. I mean, another reinforcing shot here later in the week, but we're generally going to be dry, much colder and breezy. We're not looking at extreme cold, but it's going to feel more like winter compared to what today is. Looking at highs mostly in the 40s this week and lows in the 20s. Generally dry until the weekend when we do have a little bit of a chance, but wind advisory, you can see this effect for the eastern shore. Isolated scattered power outages possible. Wind gusts up to 45, while the rest of the area is generally looking at more like 35 to 40 for this afternoon to this evening. Let's see here. Anybody have any questions right now? Okay. So here's the peak gusts. Most of this is coming right here. You can see from this afternoon, the peak gusts, about 40 across a lot of the land areas west of the bay, and 45 or even a little stronger across the eastern shore. Here's the timing of the wind gusts. You can see right in the direction. You can see that direction change around 3 o'clock for most areas, and that's when the winds really get the strongest. You can see the most consistent about 40 across the eastern shore zones. Then diminishing overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, not wind advisory criteria, but you can see still rather breezy, and it's going to feel quite chilly with highs only in the 40s tomorrow. As far as rain amounts from this front today, there could be some slightly higher amounts down in North Carolina, maybe to Virginia Beach this afternoon as that front comes through with a few gusty showers. But most places are looking at, generally just a trace to a couple tenths of an inch of rain. And you can see it's dry for the remainder, through Thursday at that point. And then you look through Thursday, generally low amounts of rain. And then even when you go through into next weekend, pretty low amounts, additional rain. We might get something as it comes in up from the south into this weekend, but it's still looking like rather low amounts and confidence is low and we're going to get anything. So you can see the high temperature forecast today being the warmest day across the area, and then you can see trending down significantly. Tomorrow probably be the coldest day with highs some areas in the northern areas in the 30s and low to mid 40s across the south. Warming up a little bit Wednesday, still near or a little below normal for this time of year. And then cooling down a little bit again for Thursday and Friday, and then starting to moderate again as we go slightly as we go into this weekend. But overall, temps remaining a little, near to a little bit below normal, but nothing extreme. You can see lows generally in the 20s, warming up a little bit. for 30s and upper 20s on Thursday morning, and then cooling back down again, but generally dry until this weekend, as we see here. Looking at the extended out to as we go into next at the end of the weekend into next week, temps near a little bit below normal, and precip chances actually go up a little bit as we go into next week. I see our normals generally mid to upper 40s across the north and lower 50s across the south. So that gale warning is in effect for the marine area, all of the bay and all of the ocean. Seas building to 4 to 7 feet, occasionally to 10 feet offshore. West-northwest winds 25 to 30, gusts up to 40. Primarily, this will be kind of late this afternoon through tonight, lingering across the coastal areas into Tuesday morning, especially for the northern areas. I can see the chance of wind gusts rather, pretty much a high chance of getting over 25, and then you see the gale conditions high across the ocean and moderate across the bay, and then lesser chances, although there probably will be a few gusts to 35 knots or so on the rivers and the sound late this afternoon into the early this evening. Just another view here. You can see the gales, basically the reason for the gales in the red. And then you can see diminishing winds as we get later into the week, but remaining breezy. So you can see the peak winds here, generally looking at this evening, and then lingering, especially across the northern coastal waters like Alpha Fenwick into tomorrow, actually into tomorrow afternoon, even with some gusts over gale force possible, and then gradually diminishing elsewhere, and then remaining still likely at small craft levels for much of the area through Wednesday. And just another kind of longer term view, you can see the remaining breezy here really through Wednesday, and then lighter winds as we get towards the weekend as high pressure kind of builds in from the north. And the wave height's nothing excessive based off with the offshore flow, but getting up to maybe 6 foot significant waves with occasional waves up to 10 feet into tonight, and then kind of gradually just diminishing tomorrow, and then really going sub-small craft as we get late in the week. And just looking at the maximum significant wave height on the left and maximum occasional wave height on the right. And that's all we have for this briefing. As I said, today's really the most active day, and then much quieter as we get into late in the week, into the weekend. Temperatures generally remaining a little below normal through the period, but nothing extreme. We're not looking at 20 degrees below normal anything. At that point, I will take your questions. Thank you, and have a great day.